Hey there, sorry about that. I ended up getting a phone call. So I know this is supposed to be the playthrough video. Just a few things for setup that got cut out. First things first, since we're only playing a solitaire game, the first player gets 8 coins. And then I think after that it's either 1 or 2 coins more for the second, third, and fourth player. You can always just check the rulebook for that if you're playing a multiplayer game. But for us, we start with 8. And then the AI, like we said, only starts with this and with the point score and then the 3 markers on the influence track. But then there's this AI board. And the AI board is just a player board flipped over. One of the 4 player boards has this on the other side. And then the only thing you have to do is you have to put these brown discs all along the top above each of the, and these look like points scored. We definitely want those brown discs to stay there, I think. Otherwise, he's scoring a boatload of points, or Jean, she is scoring a boatload of points. Okay, I didn't fully read like what she does on her turn. I figured we could go through that together. I did read that if she does more quests than us, she's going to score bonus points. And if she does a lot more quests than us, like 3 or more, or 4 or more, she's going to score so many victory points we're not even going to want to play the game. And then she, it looks like she's going to count how many of these she's upgraded versus how many we upgraded. And if she emptied more spaces than we upgraded, she gets victory points for that. And bonuses if she does more. And then her explorer, the thing that's going through the jungle, she gets victory points if she does more than us in that arena as well. So those are the primary ways she can get bonus points. Now, she does score for other reasons along the way. Like I said, I've never played this before. We're going to discover this together. Okay, so that's it for the setup. One thing I reserved and waited was we started with 8 cards. So let's just talk high level. How do you score in this game? What do you do? Well, the game is comprised of 4 rounds, and the ships will go, along this pathway. If you've played Great Western Trail, you'll understand the concept. You're basically doing a loop, and then when you get back to Cuba, the round ends. And so we're going to do 4 rounds of this, and it's 4 loops, basically. Now, there's a heck of a lot you can accomplish in those 4 loops, so please don't think that this is a mild game. I think on your first game, if you're playing a 3 or 4 player game, it'll take you 2 hours. It might, with the explanation and the recording, also do the same, but it can go a lot quicker once everybody knows what to do. Oh, I forgot. The solitaire, also we have to build an AI deck. Now they have this thing called very easy, medium, hard. We're going to do the medium mode. And so the solo deck has, A here on the bottom right. And so it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, use all 5 cards. So we're going to do that. And that, no matter what the difficulty is, you're always using all 5 A cards. For the medium difficulty, it's saying add 1 B card and 1 C card. So they're shuffled, and I'm going to add 1 B and 1 C, and you can see here at the bottom B and C. Okay, and then we shuffle them all together. There's like a whole bunch of B and C cards that are not being used in this game, and they're off to the side. If you're playing the very, very hard, it says use 3 of the B cards. It only ever says to use 1 C card. So I think that's just for more variety, right? AI may not always play the same way now because you're always mixing these B and C cards in, and you'll get a different one each time. Okay, so that's shuffled and then set over to the side by the automa. Yep, and it says the rest aren't needed. So you're going to have, in a medium game, 7 cards in that pile. Okay, back to the rules. All right, so we're going to move around, and you're going to land on either a town, which are these big circles, or a village, okay? The towns almost always have this. So these little banners above them, those are basically the action for that town, okay? The little circles are villages, and they don't have actions associated with them. One other thing I forgot to do, take the top 3 of these, and they are quests, and they go in the jungle. They bungle in the jungle. Okay, so those 3 quests go there. Okay, so let's just look at our little player aid here, and you'll see, okay, so when it's your turn, you can move 1 to 7 spaces. That's your choice, how many you want to go. Then, if you land in a city, well, you got choices. This is where it gets confusing. If you land in a village and you only moved 1 space, you get 1 action. If you move 4 or more spaces, land in a village, you get 2 actions. 7, you get 3. And then you have 1, 2, 3 actions to choose from, but this is only if you're in a village. Otherwise, if you're in a city, you can deliver a good, which is the upgrade of your ship that we always talk about, and then you do the action for that city, which is what's on the board. Or you can fulfill a quest, which is, remember, these are all or statements. So you're doing this, or this, or this, or that, okay? And then at any time, you can fulfill a career project, which we haven't talked about yet. And then you can draw cards from the display. It costs 1 coin to do that. So I forgot to look up how many cards go in the display. I'm pretty sure it's 4. Just give me a second. It is. So we take these cards here, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these cards are available for us to purchase. We can always draw from the top of the deck, and it costs a coin to purchase those cards. Okay, so as we move around, obviously we can do the different actions, and the cards are going to make a really big difference in the game. Now, the background of the cards provide different bonuses. The first thing is that this red is a permanent bonus. The blue is an assistant that you actually put out, and he gives you a bonus if you're on his space. And then the green are income track bonuses. There might be a few others I'm not thinking of at the moment, but let's look at these real quick. So like, let's say I had this card. I can spend 6 coins to, quote, build the card, which means I now have the master builder employed by me. At the end of the game, I'm going to score 3 points. That's what that means. So this is end of game stuff. I could, instead of paying the 6 coins to build this, I can discard it for a sugar or a book. So this can count as resources. So trade in this game occurs, but you're discarding cards to do your trading. He gives me a benefit of anytime I purchase a card, so see the 6 coins, for the rest of the game, I pay 1 less. So now if I want to build another one of these, he would only cost 5. And then this part at the bottom is just a text version of the symbology, which is very helpful. The assistant is going to cost me 11 coins plus one of my workers. Remember, we start the game with 2 workers. Okay, so he's going to cost one of my workers, and he goes on space 10, which is usually a village, and so he's going to end up here on this village. Okay, so I think it's pretty self-explanatory once you get the hang of it. 4 points at the end of the game. He can be discarded for resources. Remember, it's either or. You don't get to do both. But when you buy this guy, and what he does is he gives you, he gets you the hammer and saw, or saw and axe. So you get the tools. I guess that's what it's called. So you get to take one of these tools markers, and now that's yours for the rest of the game. And that unlocks things. Also, anytime you land on his space, which is space 10, you're going to score 3 victory points, and then you get to move 1 to 3 additional spaces and perform another action. And it's awesome. He explains it all at the bottom here. Okay, so every card is going to be like that. We could go through all of them. It would take all day. The other part is that, see these brown discs, in order to unlock them, you have to remove both of them. So, for example, if I remove both of these discs, I score 3 victory points. That's a one-time bonus. Or if I remove both of these discs, I just changed how my village actions are going to work. So there's different bonuses. I'm not going to get into all of them, but just wanted to make sure you understood that that's the case. You also have a compass at the start of the game, which is important to understand. This here is telling you that if you pass a space that has an assistant, but you don't actually use the assistant, you score 2 points. So that's just a reminder. This 6 with the check mark means you need to have 6 of these removed before you can unlock this one. And then up there, you need to have 4 removed before you can unlock either of those. Okay, so just some basic things. The combat value we'll talk about when we actually do combat. And then this here is a little combat chart, which is a summary of this. So the player aids in this are really quite good. I'm very impressed with it. I wish war games were this good. Okay, we got a few other things, and then we can get started. I know some of you don't like it when it lingers for so long, but we said we were going to do story mode, so let's read the story. Chapter 1, a mysterious plague has broken out in Portobello. Looters in the city take advantage of the emergency. Gloria, the sister of your first officer, lives here. She needs your protection. So story goes on 15. So we take this and we put it on space 15, which is right there. Okay, so we just put it right above the 15. Okay, a quest in a 1 to 4 player game is going to go on 16, and if it's a 4-player game, another one goes on 19. So, so what we're going to do is we just grab a quest token, and it goes on 16. So that's an option for space 16. Okay. And so yeah. Now, what does this story thing mean? Well, all it's saying is that when you get to space 15, you do this down here, and that is you spend a combat point, which we have, and then you'll get 5 coins, you'll get 1 point for every compass you have, and then you get a quest. So basically you get to take that and count it as a completed quest, okay? And that's it. So if you're talking about like story mode and you're thinking, oh my gosh, is this an engrossing deep story? This is it. So when we finish this entire game, it's going to ask me, did you finish story 1? And we're going to say yes. So then we read, you know, what's on the other side. Gloria thanks you for your help and agrees to accompany you. Read O2. Okay, that's it. If you don't do this, then it just stays there for the next game. And it stays there forever. The story mode isn't any deeper than that, folks. So please, 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 if you're wondering, oh, hey, is this going to be an engrossing, you know, it's not. It's very Euro-y, but this is sort of nice, but it's not, you know, it's not going to be the reason you buy this game. Okay. All right. So we have to pick one of these to get started. And all this is saying is if I do 2 quests, I get $2. If I do 3 quests, I'll get 2 points and $2. And then you have to put a guy on each of these. They're locked. The guy stays locked until you've accomplished the quest. Now, you can take the guy off after you've only done 2 quests and take your 2 coins, take the guy off, but then you're done. So if you ever do a 3rd quest, you can't come back and reclaim the reward. Now, if you did 2 quests and you're trying to get a 3rd one, that's your prerogative, and then you realize later in the game you're never going to get that 3rd one, you could still come back and just hand it in. It's not like you missed your chance, but if you ever want the bigger bonus, you do have to hold out. You can't take the smaller bonus first, okay? This one is influence in nations, so you need 2 different nations to have 2 influence or 4. And then this one is you need to be in space realm 2 or realm 3 of the explorer track, and those are pretty easy to see. This is 1, this is 2, and then there's 3. So realm 3 is pretty far down the track. But that's that. Or we could come over here, and then here you can see it's influence in a nation, but in one nation, but it's really high. Or having assistance. Okay, I've played this game before, and I'm going to tell you this is more my play style, so I'm going to take honor. Okay, so I'm going to put that down here above my board, and I have to take 3 of my workers, like so. And those will get unlocked as we do them. Okay, the other one just goes out of the game. All right, and then we started with 8 cards. So now we have to choose 4 cards to keep, 1 card to go into our reserve, and the rest are discarded. Now, here's an important thing. Your hand limit is 4. You can have 4 cards in your hand, but you can have 3 cards reserved. Now, if you reserve them, they can stay there for the whole game and you do nothing with them. There's no penalty. But what you're basically saying is these are the ones I want to build. And so you can put them in here and reserve them so that way your hand, which is also, remember, these are trade goods, right? Sometimes you need to discard cards just for the trade goods. So if you want to use cards for trade goods, you need your cards in your hand, right? You can't use these cards. So it'll make more sense as we play, but just understand that that's important. And I would say everybody, when they play their first game, this is the one concept that everybody explains it to them, but they don't quite get it until they start playing. Okay, so we get to keep 4. I chose not to go the assistant route. Now, that doesn't mean we don't want to build an assistant. I'm just saying that these are lower priority for me. So I'm going to put these 2 down. And then now this card is really nice, but it's super duper expensive. So I'm going to put it in the back. And then these are more my style. I really like the harbor cards, so I'm going to keep that one. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, these are all compass cards. Okay. All right. So I have to discard 3. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard this one because it's way too expensive for the early game. So these are the 3 I'm going to discard. I'm going to discard my 2 assistants and then the really expensive card. So we'll just put that up here. And then one of these I reserve, and then the other 4 are in my hand. Now, what's interesting is, as I said, I wanted to build all these, and sometimes it's not a good idea to put all these in your hand. Sometimes you maybe want to keep one of those other ones, but I like all these, so I will keep them, although this one I could probably do without. Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Quest Hunter on reserve. So what you do is you put him here like this. He's one of the 3 cards I can reserve. The other 4 cards are in my hand. All right. We get to go first. And like I said, we can move 1 to 7 spaces. So let's look at the board real quick. So let's say I move here, 1 space. Then what this is saying is this is a picture of wheat. And you can see I have wheat right here. So if I'm willing to get rid of this card, I can discard this card, and then I would get to place one of my brown discs on the wheat. Now, the reason there's 4 of them here is because this is a 4-player game, and there's always a spot for all 4 players to go. Now, when you go to these spaces, there's only a spot, the first come, first serve kind of situation. So if I go there, I get to do that, but nobody else does. Okay? Now, let me back up. There's a bar. There's a left side. So there's a left side, a bar, and a right side. So if I'm the first one here and I trade the corn, I cover up the corn, but everybody else who comes can still do the right half. So let me just put it that way. And then if you come here and you do the left half, you get to do both halves. Okay? So you get a little bit of an extra bonus. Now this very first spot, Santiago, the left half is the wheat, the right half is you unlock a worker and get a village action. That is available to everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm actually going to just move 1 space to here, and I have to pick which space I'm going to do, but I'm going to get rid of this, I'm going to get rid of this sailor. See how he has the little wheat there? I'm going to get rid of him. And, oh, it's actually tobacco. My apologies. It's tobacco. So I'm going to get rid of the tobacco, and we're going to put a ship upgrade out. So which ship upgrade do I want? I can tell you I always want a bigger hand size, so I'm going to do that one first. So I'm going to put this out there. I get to unlock a guy, so I'm going to take one of the available guys and add him to my collection. And then I get to do a village action. So what is that? A village action is I can buy a card, I can just take a coin, or I can discard all the cards in my hand to get 2 coins. So I think I can buy a card. No, I can't. I only have... Oh, no, I can. All right, so I'm going to buy... this quest hunter, okay? So he cost me 7 coins plus a guy. So that guy I just got is now gone again. And then I have to spend 7 coins. I started the game with 8, so I'm spending all but 1 of my coins. And this card is built. And you're gonna need a lot of table space for this. So I'm actually thinking of moving some stuff around here, but I'm gonna put this guy right here. Now, what does he do for me? Well, the first thing is he gives me a compass. So that will mean something later in the game. He gives me 2 income, for sure. And if I ever have one of those buildings, I get 2 more income, okay? So that's what he does for me. And let me make sure he's the one I really want to do. Nope, I wanted to do this one instead. I just want the harbor one instead of the house. Okay, so I put him down. He's built, okay? This card is mine for the rest of the game. But so now if I ever get a harbor token, I can increase my income by 2. It's all retroactive, okay? So there's no penalty for building these guys early. You don't have to wait. But right now, the only benefit I get is the compass, which is not, it'll help me later. And then this one right here is the immediate benefit. I get 2 income. So I just come up here to this cube that's on 8, and I go 9, 10. So I move it up like that, okay? All right, so that's my entire turn. But, oh, actually, I got one more thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take these 2 cards, and I'm going to say, I want to build these cards. So I'm going to place them in my reserve pile, okay? Because I want to build all of those. And now I have a hand of 0 cards. No cards are in my hand. So I get to draw 4. Now, this one is a really nice card. You always like the Master Builders because everything being cheaper is nice. But I have to pay a coin to get one of these. And I'm not a huge fan of doing that right now. So I'm going to have to pass, and I'm just going to take my chances with 1, 2, 3, 4 cards from the top. And let me show you. I got these 4 cards. And you can see this is one of those B cards. And I actually did get one of those Master Builders without having to pay a coin. So that was really lucky of me. I got an assistant, and then I got another card that's a lot like the ones I've already had. And then she basically gives me like this little quest. If I have several village actions, I can put in 2 maps to get 3 coins and move twice in the jungle. Okay, so she's a sort of a special card. All right, so I got those 4 cards. Those are in my hand. Now my turn is completely over. So we move to the AI, and according to the rules, basically what we do, on Jean's turn, she draws a card from the autumn pile, and then we follow the instructions. Okay, so let's look at her card. So first thing that happens is she moves 2 spaces. See that thing on the top? And then the rules specifically state that she does not stop in villages. She moves only to the cities or quest spaces. So she'll stop at a village if it has a quest. So, for example, this is 1, right? Because that's a big city. This is a village, so she would skip this. And then she has a choice. She can go this way or that way. And then what this is saying is she's going to go this way. And so she would stop here at number 5. Okay, that's what she would do. All right, so then it says, if legacy tiles reveal new cities, blah, blah, blah. Quest. If Jean's ship ends, that's this here. If Jean's ship ends in a quest location, add the quest tile to her board. She doesn't need to pay anything. This also counts for story tiles, which are treated like quest tiles. If Jean takes a quest tile, her turn ends immediately, because that's her whole turn. There is no quest tile here, so she's not going to do that. So then it says, if she does the city here, if Jean's ship ends in a city, check if a market space in the city is still empty. It is. If yes, take the leftmost disc from the row on her Automa board and add it to the market. So what that's saying is we're going to go grab this 0, 1, and we're going to put it on. And so what this does is that blocks me from being able to go to that space. That's one of the things, and I'm sure that's triggering her ability to score as well. Okay, so then it says, if not, instead take the indicated project card from the display. 1 means the leftmost card, and place it face down next to the Automa board, then refill the display. Since you can never deliver goods in Homeward Bound, she'll always take. Okay, so what they're saying is that if she couldn't do this, she's going to take a card from the display. So she's going to pull from the available cards that are here, and they're going to go into her hand. Interesting. Okay, so that's not going to happen though. After Jean has delivered a good or taken a card, she performs the actions indicated by the Automa card. And then basically what they're saying is she now does this regardless of which city she's in. We grabbed the C card, so this is probably one of the more brutal ones. Okay, so the first one here, she's performing a special combat action. So then we follow the steps. So step 1 is we're going to reveal a combat token. So the combat tokens are these. We haven't talked about combat yet. So if we're doing combat, the number of combat points you have gets spent, to support a different country. You can support this country, and then you get other bonuses. So if you support England, for example, you'll score 2 victory points. If you support France, they give you 6 combat points, but this is the combat points they give you. But you'd end up paying 2 coins for that. And then, of course, if you take the weakest one, you get extra victory points. Because that means you're pretty much adding your own combat. And then this thing at the top is just saying, if you take the country that has the most influence on the board, right now they're all tied, then you lose 2. And since they're all tied, they all lose 2, I believe. I'd have to look that up real quick, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Or no, I apologize. There has to be a clear winner. So you ignore, this only applies if there's truly a clear leader. Okay, so this is saying, okay, we reveal the combat token. We determine the modified combat value for each nation. For each nation, first add Jean's noble rank with that nation to the combat value indicated by the combat token. Then subtract your noble rank with that nation. Noble ranks are the last red band you or Jean is at on the influence track. If the combat token shows a requirement that modifies a nation's combat value, then apply it. Jean ignores any costs or immediate bonuses. In the case of a tie, Jean chooses the nation with the highest combat value on the token, ignoring any modifications or bonuses. If there's still a tie, she goes France first, Spain, and then England last. Jean now annexes the lowest numbered empty city without receiving the rewards shown on the flag. If there aren't any empty cities, she annexes the lowest numbered village. If there aren't any of those, then she removes the ownership marker from the game. For Automa card Warrior, annex an additional empty village according to the rules above. Finally, Jean gains the rewards indicated by the Automa card, either 2 influence with the nation she fought with, or 3 influence with the nation she fought with, and 2 victory points. Place the combat token on the Automa board. Okay, so what does all that mean? It's a lot, I know, and my apologies. So what this is saying is that we have to figure out what her combat value is. And what it's telling us is that they want us to look at her influence on the track and see these little red bands. Those are influence. She's at 0 for all of them. So, but let's say she was at this one, and that means she would get a +1 combat for Spain over France or England, because, you know, that one would have been here and not there. And then what it's also saying is that even if she's at level 1 for Spain, but let's say I'm level 2, she adds 1 for Spain, but then she takes 2 away for this. See, it's like a little mathy exercise. But she's at 0. So we can just look at her combat token and see that France has 6, which is the clear leader for her. So she's going to do France. And then what it's saying is you got to look at this. So she wants the maximum sword, and it's actually telling you right here, maximum sword plus her value minus mine, okay? If there's a tie, she's going to choose countries in that order. And then what she's going to do is she's going to place a cube minimum on the village or city, minimum city, and then another cube on a minimum village, and then she's going to gain 3 influence and 2 points, okay? So the combat, that's it for her. I mean, there's no rolling dice or anything crazy. That's all you do with combat. And then it says put it on her Automa board, which just means you put it here. She now has 1 combat token. So at the end of the game, sometimes these can get you points, depending on how many you have, okay? So she has 1, and I think the only thing we have to do is we determine that she's definitely picking France, because they have the max swords. And so then what you do is we're going to grab 2 cubes from France. So France is going to get influence on the board. The first one is the minimum city. And so the way it's just a number. So this is the first city. So she's going here, and France is getting influence over, they basically took Santiago. Now, if this were us, we would get 4 coins for doing that, but the AI doesn't get anything. And then because of this card, it's a special one, she's also going onto the first village, which is the lowest number village, which is that one, number 2. And then she gets 3 influence with France, which is an amazing amount. 1, 2, 3. She's already 2 levels up on France now, and she scores 2 victory points. 1, 2, and that's it. That's her turn. That's probably the most complicated card she's going to have, because this is the C card, which are what makes the game harder, right? So she got a lot of juicy stuff there. So that's 1 round. She went and then I went. Now I went and then she went. So now I get to go again. And again, I can go 1 to 7 spaces. You know, same rules as before. Sorry, things are looking blurry sometimes. So, okay. So what do I want to do? Okay, I'm here. Obviously, if I go to Santo Domingo, I can move my Explorer 2 spaces here, which normally I would like to do, but I don't get to deliver a good, which is also something I would like to do. So let me see. We do have the goods. I don't know how excited I am about doing a village action again, because I don't have that much money. So I need money. That's one of the things I need to do. How do I get money? Well, one of the things I can do is village actions, which only gives me 1 coin. Or I can discard my entire hand, which would give me 2 coins. Those are very difficult ways to get money. This one does give me 2 coins just for going there. So I think I might want to just do that. The other thing is if you look at the jungle, there's coins that can be earned along the way there. Now this one, you only move 1 space and you'll get 3 coins though. I could do that if I go here, but then I can't trade. So I don't know. I mean, obviously being able to trade is nice, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go here, and we're going to get rid of another wheat. In this case, it's going to be this guy right here. So I'm going to get rid of that sailor, and then I'm going to unlock. My hand size is now 6 cards. So that's something that for me is crucial to get early in the game. So I already unlocked to a hand size of 6. I get 2 coins. So I'm going to grab that right now. And then I get to do a village action, which I'm going to take another coin. Okay. Now, I happen to have 3 cards in my hand. My hand size is now 6, so I'm going to grab 1, 2, 3 more. And interesting, I got a priest. I've never seen one of those before, and then a fort, which does all kinds of combat stuff. So 2 of them, in fact. Okay, so now I got a hand size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got it. All right, so that's my whole turn. I know it doesn't seem very exciting, but that's part of the build-up here. And now we're going to draw the next Automa card. Okay, so this one, she moves 1 space. And remember, she's skipping villages. So she's moving pretty dang far. She's made it all the way to 11. Okay, there's no quest there, but she's going to put a disc out. That's done. And then she's going to do another dang combat. So let's grab another one of those. So it says that she's going to take the max. Okay. So remember, with France now, she gets a +2. So this is a 4 now for her. But the 3rd place gets a 3. Nope, that's a tie, so it doesn't happen. So France is a 4 and England's a 4, but she's going to choose France again because of the tiebreaker. So she's going to put out a French cube on the minimum city and then get 2 more influence again. So I'm going to grab a French cube, and the minimum city would be here or here. This is a 4, so I'll put it there. Okay, and then she gets 2 more influence, 1, 2. She's moving right up that track. Yeah, Cheaty McCheaterson for sure. But what I like about the game is her turn was quick. She's done already. Okay, so now it's our turn. And to be quite honest, I want to do combat. Because combat is a nice way to get money in this game. And she has taken the 2 best money spots in the game, which is highly annoying, to be quite... So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 myself. I'm going to stop at the same place, and I'm going to do a combat. So now you get to see how the players will do it. And you'll see here that it's either a 4, a 2, or a 6. But if I do the 6, I have to spend a coin, which defeats the purpose. But what does combat allow me to get? Well, it's on your player board along the top here. Or you can just look at your little sheet. Let's try the sheet. That might be easier. So what you get to do is you can spend... So let's say I took the 4 combat points, which I'm thinking of doing. I can spend the 4 on the bottom here, and I can gain 1 influence and then put a cube out. Plus, what is that? I can put a cube. Oh, plus I get the flag bonus, which is there. That's what I want to do. Now, if I have 6, I can remove a cube. So basically, I'm going to conquer something somebody else already has. France has a ton of cubes on the board, but thanks to Jean, and having 6 combat is actually something I want to do. So I'm going to do that. And here's why. I only get 2 coins if I take this one. So I could choose France, for example, and put another blue cube on the board. But then I'm going to get 2 coins here, and that's it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a coin to support England, which I want to do anyways, because since she favors France, I want England to be the more powerful one, or Spain. But so I'm going to pick England. I have to pay a coin. So that puts me down to 3 coins now. But in doing so, I get 6 swords. And now that I have 6 swords, I'm going to choose this option. Now, I could do this option of 2 and pick one of these rewards, and then I can also do the 4. I could actually do both of these for my 6 points, right? This is actually quite awesome to be able to do both, but I want the flag, and I want this part right here that's worth 4 coins, okay? So I'm gonna hurt Jean and hurt France and help England and then also get 4 coins. So I spent the coin, and instead of getting 2, I'm gonna get 4. So overall, it's gonna work out. I'm gonna get 3 coins instead of 2. So I know that sounds complicated, but it really isn't. And so I'm choosing England, okay? And I'm gonna take an English cube, and then I'm choosing the option, see the little cross through a cube? So I'm gonna kill a cube. This one is I'm gonna just peacefully take a place that doesn't have a cube yet. That's the difference between the 4 and the 6. All right, so we're gonna do the 6 side. And so I'm gonna kill the French cube. Now this cube just goes out of the game, okay? It doesn't go back on the board. France put influence out here, but now this is out of the game, so you just set it off to the side. It is important that you remember to do that correctly. And then I get the 4 coins. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm starting to feel like money again. Okay, and then your little battle board goes here, because sometimes those will make a difference. And in fact, let's look at that, because I keep mentioning that they might make a difference. These are the 4 big prestige buildings. This one, you get 2 points for every ship upgrade that you unlock. This one is 4 points, up to 16 max, for every assistant you have on the board. I probably should have paid attention to that. This one is, you get 4 points for every level of jungle you've explored. Oh. So sorry about that. Got a nice view of either the inside of my nose or the ceiling, but either way, it's probably not very appealing. And sorry, my tripod is a little unsteady here. And then this one is 2 points for every person that you have. So right now I have 2 of them, right? So this goes up and down. So I probably should have paid attention to that, because these are opportunities for big points, and I chose not to go the assistant route, which this has actually a nice reward for assistance, I mean. Okay. So I did the combat, I got the money. That was why the combat was important to me. I just wanted the money. All right, so we move to the next card. She's moving 1. So let me back it down and put the camera somewhere a little bit more stable. Okay, so remember, she's going to skip the village. She's doing the little underneath. So that means she's going this way here. And she's taking a spot that I probably really would have liked to have had, but that's okay. So there is no quest. She's doing the little city action, and then here you can see she's getting 1 influence in France. So she's moving right on up that France board like there's no tomorrow. Okay, so our turn. I do have some decent money. My advice to you is don't spend it. Because when you get to the very end, there's a chance to buy a card as you're going through this little track. And if you don't have enough money to buy a card, you get like a crappy 2-point consolation or consolation, and you're going to lose the game. So make sure you have enough money to buy a card every time the round ends. Okay, so what do I want to do? I obviously would like to go up here. The big benefit, of course, is that I can put out a ship upgrade here, and I can gain a combat action. And if I would have been able to do the corn trade, I would have been able to do 2 ship upgrades. That's the reason why this is really sweet. But since she went there, it's not cool. So the other thing I'm being mindful of is that this is village, 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 and she's going to trigger the end of the round on her next turn. So I basically only have 1 more freaking turn before it's time. Now this one will get me some nice money. I like this quest, actually. I like everything about this. So that is a very good option. Or I can just do the story quest, which, oh, that gives me $5. Or I can do this, which just gives me an influence. So what are my... I do need quests. So I'm going to go do the story quests. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And remember, you can do village actions or you can do the quest. So the story quest is I can spend 1 combat point, which I have. So this is going to go to 0. Okay. And then what I get is I get 5 coins. And then I get a point for every compass. Remember I told you the compass helps you later? And I get a point for every compass, and then I get to basically take the quest. So this is going to count as a quest. So let me do this one at a time. I get the 5 coins. So I got myself a nice little set of money. And there's just nowhere to put my camera down. I get the quest, which I'm just going to flip over. And they do a really cool job because, look, I get to put this here, and look, the wood grain sort of matches. Pretty cool, huh? Now, if I get enough quests, I actually score 3 and 2 points at the end of the game. And then this is a spot where you can have unlimited quests. That's not a limit. You can see that there's like 2 little squares there to show that they pile up from there. And then here's the compass I was talking about. So I have this compass, and then I have this one because I bought this card. So I have 2 compasses. So when you look at the quest, I'm going to score 2 points. That's all that's saying. And then story card 1 is done. So I'm going to put that right here. Well, actually, we just flip it over. And we're going to do whatever that says at the end. Okay? Gloria thanks you for your help and agrees to accompany you. Read O2. We do that right now, actually. So, Gloria knows a doctor who might be able to fight the plague. His name is Edward. Bring him healing herbs. So story 10. So we're going to grab story number 2, and that's going to go on place number 10, which is right here. Okay. Then it says quest 12 for a 1 to 4 player game, and then add cards 90 and 91 to the discard pile. Okay. So 90 and 91 are going to be assistants. Yep, they are. Okay, these are the card C that we were talking about. So 90 and 91 are going to get unlocked, and there you can see Gloria and Dr. Edward. They go to the discard pile, which means that they'll get shuffled in later. So they're added to the game forever. You know, you can play the next game and they'll be in the game. And then quest goes on space 12. So you can see that it's just dynamically changing. Yeah, the story's not deep and engrossing, but the game is changing as you go. I like that part. It's no worse than, oh gosh, what's the name of that game? Not Cloudspire, but Charterstone. That's the game I'm thinking of. Okay. All right, so my turn is done. I did a quest. I got all kinds of cool cash and prizes. Now it's her turn, and I'm pretty sure she's going to start triggering the end of the round. Yeah, there you go. Bold. She's going to move 2 spaces. So what she's going to do here is, you can see she's going to go skip, 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 and then here with the little hand. See how that has a little hand there? She can't do... Oh, gosh. Where did this go? Sorry. She has to stop there. That rule... So basically, the first player to get here gets to either do a combat action or move 2 in the jungle, okay? You get either or. So then all other players are going to get 1 more turn, and then on her next turn, she's going to move here to 21A. She will score 3 points because she was the first player to end the round, okay? And then the round officially ends. So this is sort of like a, hey, the round's going to end, guys, and then this is where the round really does end. Now you'll see that it says 1 to 3 here, and this says 4, because on round 4, there's actually, hey guys, the game's going to end. Hey, I'm serious, it's really going to end. And then here it actually ends. Okay, so she's at the end, and once she reaches space 20, she only ever moves to the next space. She cannot skip locations with the hand symbol. Okay, yep. So then she does what's on the card, and it doesn't matter what space she's in. So what it says on the card, so she's not going to do that. She can't do that because there's no city, okay? But what that means then is she's going to take card 3, okay? She can't do this part, but she can do that part. So the third card, 1, 2, 3, this, I don't know what it's going to do for her, but we'll just put it over here. That's in her hand. I don't know if she's taking it out of the game or what she's doing. And then here you can see she's going to move 2 in the jungle, and on round 3 and 4 she's going to move 4. So it says if you can reach a quest, move to this field and take it. Remaining steps are lost. Otherwise, take the shortest way. There is no reward for target, field, and barriers. Okay, so she's going to move 2, and she's the black player, so 1, 2. Now, if you've played, gosh, why am I forgetting the name of the game? If you've played the cattle game with the trains and the rules, Great Western Trail, that's what I'm thinking of. If I move, and let's say I get to move 2 spaces, I would go 1, and then this would normally be 2, but because she's there, I get to skip that space and count this as 2. Okay, so that's how the jungle movement rules work. But always bear that in mind. Okay, the round is not over. She triggered it. So we get to do one more thing. And so I'm gonna go and hurry up and take this quest too before the round ends. Or actually, what I can do is I can leave that quest there and I can rush up here and do another combat or jungle move. And I'm gonna do the jungle move, in fact. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna join her up here. And instead of doing combat, which is actually not a bad idea, I'm going to do the jungle move. So I'm going to go 2 spaces. Now I could choose to go 1 and just take the 3 coins, but I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I get to leapfrog over her. And then, unfortunately, I only get 1 coin, but I'm more interested in getting through the jungle fast in the least amount of movements possible. And that's what that allowed me to do. Now this here would have given me 3 jungle movement, and I was attracted by that, but I'm going to try to hope to get that next round. I hope she doesn't take it from me. Okay, so now we go to her turn, and what's going to happen is she's going to just automatically move to here, and she gets 3 points. So 1, 2, 3 for her. She's up to 5 points, and I realized I forgot to take the 2 points from my compass, so I'm actually at 2. Now, one thing the rules don't explain very well is, do I draw a card for her and do what it says? Now, normally when you're playing a multiplayer game and somebody gets to that last spot like that, all they do is move forward and get 3 points. That's it. They don't even get to play cards or anything of that sort. So I'm going to assume that that's the same for us. And also, I forgot, you always draw back up to 4 at the end of a player's turn. Okay, so now with all that said, we now trigger this part of the game. So we're going to go step by step through each of these, and then we're at the end of the round. And at the end of the round, we go back to Havana and we start all over again. Okay, so the first thing is in rounds 1 through 3, we can buy a card. That's what this is. And then, of course, draw back up to our hand size. If we don't buy a card, we can just take 2 points. And this is what I was saying is the bad consolation prize. So we saved up enough money so we could buy a card. And I, gosh darn it, want to buy a card. So I'm going to buy... I'm going to buy this card. And what this says is I get one combat point before every combat. I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and buy him. He costs 7 coins. So I have 7 coins. And then I get stuff. Oh, I have to pay a sailor, so I lose a guy. But then I get stuff. So for the rest of the game, I'm going to get a combat point for 4 combat. And I'm going to go up 2 on the income track. And then now you see I have, if I can ever build a harbor, I'm going to get a nice little bump. But I'm going to move up 1 and 2 on the income track. Okay. Now, we debated this in the multiplayer game. Can you do this or can't you? And we talked to a few people, and the answer we concluded is yes, you can. So I'm going to take this master builder and move him to my reserve pile, because that's something you can always do. And then that lets me draw a card before the end here. And so now I'm back up to 6 cards. And guess what I just drew? I drew my harbor card. So there's the card I really want. Although that's a major harbor, which is interesting. It's very expensive. Okay, so that step is done. And let me make sure that Gene doesn't do anything on these steps. There is one thing she does, and we're not at that step yet, though. Okay, so the good news is at the end of the round, all these perks and bonuses are for me and not for her, but that's okay. She gets plenty. Okay, so the next thing we do, and I'm trying not to bump things on the board, is we do this spot, and that is collect income. The green is always the symbol for income. So I don't have any points income. That's what this is. But I do get 12 bucks from that income track. So we come over here and take a nice shiny 10, 11, 12, and we got ourselves a small little egg, nest egg. So that's good. Now this is the part where it says, during income, Gene scores victory points equal to the highest value empty space on the Automa board, plus 1 victory point per card next to the board. Okay. So her highest one is 2. See that? She gets 2 victory points there. And then she has 1 card, so that makes it 3. So that's why those cards matter. So she gets 3 victory points. 1, 2, 3, and off she goes. She's already beating me by a lot. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Next. We have this. All this is saying is everywhere that these little brown discs are, take those off. The board basically refreshes. So I'm doing that, and I'll just put it in a little tray here so we don't lose those. Those little brown discs are they're pretty easy to drop and lose, so be careful. Okay, next. You have this thing, and all that's saying is these guys wipe. And then 4 more come out. And remember, it costs a coin to pick the ones that are face up. This is a cheaper harbor. So the coin thing is difficult. One of the unlocks here lets you remove the coin, and maybe we can talk about those in a second. Next is the prestige cards, okay? All this is saying is reveal the next prestige card. Remember that the basic rules said that this would be revealed and then all the rest were going to be turned upside down. This is where you would reveal the next card, but we played with the variant that the designer gave us where all of them are revealed at the beginning of the game. Next is refresh quests. That's what that is, and that's, oh, my apologies. That's when the story card gets done. So we did it a little prematurely, but that's okay. None of the story stuff that came out was impacted by this. This is where you would advance the story. My apologies. We would not have read number 2 here until this step. So forgive me for that. And somebody probably is going to put something in the comments and then, 20 minutes later realize I finally caught it. Okay, and then this last thing is just saying move all your ships back to Havana. So it's not a very involved thing. It took a while to explain, of course, but it's pretty simple and straightforward. And yeah, we would have read story 2, and then this would have come out because that's what story 2 does. And then this also would have come out because that's what story 2 does. So we are fine. There's no way for more than 4 of these to ever be needed, right? Because there's only 4 rounds in the game. All right. that brings us to the end of the round. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go real quick through the ship upgrades, explain to you what they mean, and if that bores you, just go to the next video, video 3, and then we'll be starting the next round. Okay? So that's one of my lessons from doing this for you guys for a year and a half is some of you don't like it when I start talking about stuff. But okay, so let's go through it real quick. As you know, I unlocked the 6 hands. This here is unlocking another combat option. And what that combat option allows you to do is it allows you to put a cube on a village. Normally, you're always putting it on a city that has a flag. This lets me put a cube on a village. And then what I do is I get to score coins equal to the number of assistants that are in that village times 3 or times 1. I can't remember what the times 3 are. I think it's times 3 if it's another, if they belong to me, and then times 1 if they belong to other players. I think that's what that means. So the assistants give you a varying amount of money. Right now there's 0 assistants in the game, so not a very helpful one. And then of course if I pay 5, I can remove a cube from a village, and you can see there's these cubes in villages right now. That's the only way to remove those village cubes. So that's what that option is. This one here, it's sort of hard to see, but see that little village there with the A? That's adding another village action. So when you do a village, remember we said you can buy a card, you can collect a coin, or you can discard your hand to collect 2 coins. Those are the only 3 things you can do in a village. Well, this is adding another action. So this is saying in a village action, you can also collect 1 coin and move up 1 on the combat track. You get to do both. So it's just a superior option to this one where you only get to collect 1 coin. Now you get to collect a coin and gain a combat point. Okay, that's what this one is. This one here is if I discard 3 cards with the same good on them, I can get 2 coins and 2 points. And remember, the goods are these things. So that's the tobacco and books, okay? So I have to have 3 cards with the same good. This one here is, let's look at this chart again. If I move 1 space and land on a village, I get 1 action. If I move 4 or more, I get 2. If I move 7 or more, I get 3. Okay, that's the normal rules. This is if I move 2 or more spaces, I get 2 actions, and 5 or more gives me 3 instead of 7. Okay, so it's just better. This is worth getting. This one here is straight up 3 points. This one's straight up 6, but with the arrow here, you have to do this one first. This here is saying that I can buy these cards without having to pay any money. It costs $0 now. So whenever I'm drawing back up to my hand size, I can draw from the cards that are face up. That can be quite powerful because it gives you a lot more control over the cards you're going to get next. Okay, this one here is straight up 5 coins. Here, another complicated one. This is a village action. So see another village action. This is saying I can put a cube on a city where I am located. No, I can put a cube on the village that I'm located. So this is me invading the village myself. I can put a cube on the village I'm located at. I get 1 influence for the cube. So let's say I pick England. I can get an influence for England, and I get a coin. So it lets me put an English cube out on the board, gain an influence with England, and also gain a coin. This one here is a one-time bonus of 3 movement, 4 coins and 4 points, or I get to jump up to the next red zone. So for example, to jump to the next red zone would just be 1 spot, which is awful. But if you're here, to jump to the next red zone, I get to move up 3 spots, which is awesome because it's this red to that red. And I didn't mean to point this red column to that red column, not the red influence. It can be really nice. It all depends on when you get it. And then this last one here is just straight up 10 points. Okay, now one thing I also didn't explain, which is why does influence matter? Why do the cubes on the board matter? Let's talk about that real quick. So here you can see, let's say the game ended right now. Right now, France has unlocked 2 points here. So she's on this spot, which is times 3. So 2 points times 3 points, she's going to score 6 points because she has the times 3 influence and they scored 2 points. Okay? That's the raw calculation. But then what it's saying is that whoever has the max cubes is going to get 2 extra points. But it's not the max cubes out of here, it's the max cubes on the board. And right now that's still France because they have 1, 2, 3 cubes. So France would have the max and they would get an extra 2 points. So this would be 2, 3, 4. Okay? So that's 4 points times 3. That's now worth 12 instead of 6, right? So Jean has got a buttload of points. And by removing these cubes, I'm taking those 2 points away from her, right? Now, England right now only has 1 point revealed, but they have 2 cubes out, and Spain only has 1. So England's in second place, so this would be worth 2 points here. But I don't have any influence with anybody, and that's my problem. I thought I got an influence. Let me check. Let me check real quick, but I did England here. I think I might move up on the England track. No, yes, I do. Right here. I did this action here. Remember I put the cube out and I collected the flag and I chose the 6 option, so I killed a cube. I put the cube out, collected the flag, but I skipped this part. See that part there? I get 1 influence with the country I used. So I did get 1 influence with England. So I moved, I'm on the board. No impact to the game, folks. There's nothing we need to retcon there. It was just something I forgot to do when I did my combat action. And that's where a lot of points comes out of that, by the way, folks. Don't ignore the combat track. Don't ignore the influence track. There's a lot of points to be scored there. Okay, I'm at an hour 7. We finished round 1 of the game. 3 more rounds to go. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay awesome.